ये है आपका अपना सब रंग 94.7 FM।
सब रंग रेडियो 94.7 FM ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਲਿਸਨਰਸ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੰਡੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਰਜੇਸ਼ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਥੀ ਨੇ
ਮਨਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ
ਪਿਆਸਾ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਇੱਕ ਖਾਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੋਸਤ ਤੇ ਹੋਸਟ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਆਪੇ इंट्रोड्यूस कर देने।
जी नमस्ते, सत श्री अकाल, आदाब, याली मदद जी। मैं आपका होस्ट और आपका दोस्त जलाल, यस बैक इन टाउन।
यार तो जलाल वापस पहुंचे हैं स्टूडियो में, तो बड़ी देर के बाद जलाल आए यार। आप काफी देर के बाद आपसे मुलाकात करने का मौका मिला जी। तो देखने में अभी मैंने तो शक्ल भी तुम्हारी अभी जस्ट देखी है, अभी अच्छी लग रही है क्योंकि स्टूडियो इतनी भागम भाग।
नहीं अभी भी ऐसी है, लेकिन नहीं अभी वो बस यहाँ है फिलहाल, तो इसके लिए चलो अपना हम सबसे मुलाकात हो जाए, आप सबसे मुलाकात हो जाए।
बहुत अच्छा किया यार, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप इतना टाइम निकाल के आए, आजकल बड़े आप बिजी हो गए मुझे पता है, पर उसके बावजूद भी आपने स्टूडियो में पहुंच के हमारे लिसनर्स के साथ, अपने लिसनर्स के साथ बात करने की कोशिश की जी। तो बड़ा अच्छा प्रोग्राम आज का जो होने जा रहा है। पहले सबसे पहले तो मैं चाहूंगा भी हमारे सारे लिसनर्स को गणतंत्र दिवस, रिपब्लिक डे ऑफ इंडिया जिसको हम कहते हैं, उसकी बहुत बहुत बधाई देंगे। कांग्रेचुलेशन टू ऑल द लिसनर्स। और आज के मौके के ऊपर हमने एक बड़ी स्पेशल जो हमारे, मैं कहूँगा मेरे मेंटर और मेरे गुरु, और मुझे बड़ा जिनसे मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा जिंदगी में। कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो उन्होंने क्लासरूम के अंदर सिखाई, जहाँ कॉन्फ्रेंस के अंदर सिखाई, और कुछ चीजें ऐसी जैसे हम पर्सनली एक दूसरे के साथ जब शेयर करते हैं तब सीखी, और कुछ एक चीजें ऐसी भी जो उन्होंने कभी सिखाई नहीं, पर मैंने उनकी पर्सनैलिटी से उनको देख के अपने आप ही लर्न की। सो ये सारी चीजें जो मैंने सीखी हैं वो हमारे एक, मैं कहूँगा भी मेरे गुरु ही कहना कोई बुरी बात नहीं होगी, मेंटर पॉल दिवाकर जी। सो सबसे पहले मैं स्वागत करूंगा पॉल का। पॉल, वेलकम टू सब रंग रेडियो 94.7 FM।
Thank you very much, Rajesh. You have given me more credit than I deserve, but very happy and congratulations on the Republic Day.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I don't know how much Hindi you understand what I spoke in the Hindi, but I always respect from bottom of my heart, because you are just like I don't have words to explain like how good you are in whatever you are doing, and how I felt about you all the time.
Paul ji, you are also welcomed by the other hosts from Manjeet Singh Pyasa and our
Jalal
co-host Jalal. So welcome in the program, and especially in the special episode of this Republic Day of India.
थैंक यू मंजीत जी और जलाल जी, बहुत खुश है मैं, क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ा मौका मिला
जी।
एंड रियली टू कनेक्ट बैक विद राजेश, फॉर मी इट्स सो वंडरफुल, एंड दैट टू ऑन 26th January, Republic Day, and we fondly remember the contribution of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So I'm really happy that this program is possible to meet you all today.
So we are also happy because we are meeting you especially on this auspicious occasion, and we want to listen for ourselves and for our listeners on behalf of the Republic Day, and whatever your contribution towards this struggle, because I had been going through your this resume and your deeds which you have completed up to this time since you completed your post graduation. So I'm very pleased to meet a man of this stature.
Oh, thank you, sir. Sometimes they keep writing more than what we are, like the sign holdings that you see on the road. But I think when we compare ourselves to great leaders like Baba Saheb Ambedkar and others, we know we are very small, and we have to just do our little part in order to complete the dream that he has dreamed of for a free and strong India.
So thank you for this appreciation.
Yeah, so Paul, this introduction what Mr. Pyasa he was giving, and I think Jalal is also having something to say about you. And actually this is not a simple introduction what we are trying to give it over here. It's written on the Amnesty International website, what we took from there. So because I know I know you a lot, but the only thing is, I was wondering if Mr. Pyasa or Jalal ji can tell something about you, because they have your introduction in their hands and they were planning to say something about you. Ji, Pyasa ji. So because we are so delighted and happy to know about you, like you are today with us on air, and we are going to share about your work, what you have achieved so far, and how far internationally, and a person like you is so big in international. It's not only your work is in India only, you are all over the world. So you started a NCDHR as a founder member of National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights, and then you took over 200 members to Durban conference, and after that there is a lot of other international recognitions you acquired from there, and then Dalit Adhikar Andolan, so one of the national campaign issue, this was also one of the big issue you raised. And it's not all, you were with the Planning Commission of India looking for the Indian Dalits right in the 2007 and 2011 for both the 11th and 12th plan. So there are so many other things we can talk about you, and we can keep talking, but I think we should ask you now, like how you started your career as a Dalit human rights activist, or a human rights activist for the Dalits and Adivasis.
It all started small. I was working with the, let me start a little earlier. I had a major tragedy in my life when my father had encountered the land mafia in India, in the place in Andhra Pradesh where he was working, which was trying to grab the land, and when he tried to encounter some of the heinous crimes which they were doing, they tried to threaten to wipe out our whole family, and this happened for over a year. And once when they did try, they blocked the road when we were traveling, and they bombed the car, and my mother got killed in that. And this whole process set me to think. I was only 21 years old at the time, and I felt that it is necessary for people like me to see, first of all, that violence like this should not affect individuals, and we should be able to resist and also stop such violences against people. That was one incident which has changed my life, and felt that I should take up human rights work. The second was when I was working in the villages on the rights of the agricultural laborers. I saw that we were all not as one agricultural laborers, but people were divided on caste. And you know about the caste and the whole issue of what is erstwhile called untouchability. I realized when I started working in those villages, the kind of untouchability, the practice, even though people all have the same kind of economic background, still they feel that there are people who are low and people who are high just because they are born into one caste. And some castes are meant to be serving, or the slave caste, and the others are supposed to be enjoying, and this has affected our society. And I had first-hand information on this, and I realized my own caste, and that I too come from the caste which has been so-called outcast, called Mala and Madiga. These are two main castes. My parents were coming from both these castes, so felt that I needed to also, having been privileged, I worked for a while in Los Angeles and in Somalia, Indonesia, with several international organizations. And then I felt that I need to get back and continue to work on these two issues, on the human rights, but primarily against violence that mars our people who ask for higher wages, who challenge the caste system, who try to cross the line of touchability and assert their rights, and violence when it attacks them. How do they use constitutional provisions to address this violence? So that's how I began my journey, and have been very strongly supported by my partner in this work, and together we had managed to build on, with the support of several other leaders, other friends in this work through network, and that's how we managed to do small things. I don't think they're very big things. They're very small compared to great leaders. But I think when you look back in one paper, sometimes it appears big.
So, Paul,
actually, because the introduction also we got from the Amnesty International profile of yours, and we listened from you how you came to this in this line, especially when you are working for the Dalits, or you mentioned the untouchability, because if we go through the past history of India, Guru Nanak first time mentioned, because when he says Panch, because there was 4 castes, but when he says Panch Parvan, Panch Pradhan, so he mentioned about the 5th class which was untouchable, and he gave them he was a man in the history, in the written history, who struggled and who endeavored and fought for the rights of the downtrodden. And anybody who is working on those lines, like you and Baba Sahab, they have chosen that path, because this path is not easy. So my first question will be that, since we are celebrating the independence after independence, this Republic Day of India, the India adopted constitution this day, what difference do you feel that after that adoption of this constitution is there? And I will ask you other questions after that.
Thank you, Manjit. I think that's a very important aspect that you mentioned. One, challenging this caste system through faith and through religious means is one way. I think one needs to pursue that. Then the other is challenging through democratic measures, through ensuring that we have a constitution, we have rule of law, and one person, one vote, and ensuring that there is a equal society and everybody has access to equal justice. I think that is another important part that we have to do. I think before the era of the democracy and democratization of nations, shift from feudal structure to so-called, democratic structure, one of the things that was most important, I think, has been religious beliefs. These have been very strongly embedded in feudal and or colonial periods, where it was a king, and that king had power, supposedly also being supported by some religious power. Now, in that time, I think it is people like Guru Nanak Ji and also Guru Ravidas Ji who has really challenged these systems. I think the whole Sikh religion, if I recall it right, has its basic foundations in challenging the system that people are made unequal, and therefore felt that people are equal. And this was further given shape by Guru Ravidas Ji, Sant Ravidas Ji, where he himself coming from that particular background and felt that and the entire community, including the Sikh community, has given that kind of respect for them. I think that is a very, very fundamental belief. Now that belief got translated into a political structure through the rule of law and democracy. And I think that's where people like Baba Sahib Ambedkar has imbibed those principles of real equality into political rights. So I think these two things somehow we need to hold in each our hand. A religious, or I wouldn't say religious alone, a kind of a spiritual belief that we are all equal, and we are not separated because of the work or the kind of status, religious status that one person has. Whoever that one person is, they are basically all equal. I think that religious belief, and combined with the democratic belief that one person, one vote, I think together will build strong any nation. I think for that we have to really thank our forefathers who have challenged these systems as well as who have adopted the democratic constitution.
ਦਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਮੰਗ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਿਰਸੇ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਸੰਗ परदेसी मिट्टी ते जिउण दा देसी सिस्टम नवे पुराने गाने सेलिब्रिटी इंटरव्यूज ते होर भी मनोरंजक प्रोग्रामां दा ऑन एयर चैनल जो है सब तो दबंग सब रंग 94.7 FM सब रंग